I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. Let's get into it. Okay, guys, back with another Entropy Universe video. This time here, we're going to talk about a mission and a bunch of other things on the planet Toulan. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about jelly babies and saving them. As the title says, I'm also going to talk about a couple super rare loots that drop off of the Mukats on planet Toulan. I'm also going to talk about some side-by-side weapon comparison that I did over a pretty substantial amount of hunts, all on these mobs, so they're pretty comparable. I'm not going to go deep into this. If you want me to go more into this, I have all the data. However, from what I've found on prior videos, there isn't really a huge desire or push for this. But if you guys want me to go ahead and publish this information in more detail, I do have it. The kind of detail I'm talking about takes you out of the realm of a non-depositing player, but can really be beneficial if you are a non-depositing player to know maybe what's out there and what's good, and maybe some of the things that you might want to avoid. So anyways, with that, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay, so what are these jelly babies? Well, the jelly babies are nothing more than house decor. They're a status symbol saying, I completed a long and arduous, maybe even hard task. Hard is really comparison to what your skill levels are. If you are mid-skill, this is not hard. This just takes time, money, resources, that type of stuff. There is a potential for reward. I would say I did not come out even. I would say that I fell behind probably about my 5% that you would expect from just doing a straight hunt. I would say that I retained a lot of crafting supplies that when I use them, the value of having those supplies versus buying those supplies probably would take me into the positive realm. However, that's not a true net positive. That is, if I was going to do this crafting and this hunt, and I had to go buy these parts, I would lose money. So weigh that as you wish, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But for sure, in one of those hunts, I did go positive. How many hunts did I go on? I refer to more than one hunt, and I spent a lot of time and effort doing this. Well, I broke down the hunts into 150 ammo. I didn't worry about the cost or the repairs of the guns or the repairs of the attachments. I just wanted to focus. I wanted to have my core based on how much ammo I spent. So if you're shooting an LR-15, which is one of the guns I fired, a 150 PED will last you about an hour, maybe a little longer. If you're shooting a adjusted Buchan, that's going to last you a tremendously long time, to the point of which it is almost obnoxious how long it will last you. I'm having to actually hold my microphone or be too close to the camera. I'm still working on getting this set up and everything. I apologize. I've been working an insane amount of hours. That's why my upload schedule has been a little slow. I do have some more D&D videos coming out here soon, so I'm going to be doing some back-to-back Entropy Universe videos, as these other ones I have are kind of time delayed. But I won't get into that right now. You just see it when it comes out. I've got a thing I'm trying to do over on that side of things. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Mokats if I didn't lose you yet. Mokats are these gelatinous, Yeti-looking, well, really they're Bigfoot. They walk like Bigfoot. They have the profile of Bigfoot. They appear like Bigfoot. They're just made of like gelatin. They're really weird creatures. They technically range from levels 0 to 8. They have a couple things on them, like the generic fuse, which is a very high-end component used for like warp drive engines and that type of stuff. They also have the Mokat control pills, which allows you to assume the appearance of a MOCOT and to enter PvP, so you can attack people in non-PvP areas. It's just for fun, I guess, with the thrill of killing or trolling people, I guess, versus actually being something of extreme power or usefulness. You don't get anything back really for it, as far as I know. I haven't really explored that a whole lot. I do know that the control pills are based upon your little micro skills. There's a profession in there. The profession escapes the top of my head right now, but it's related to your looting skills, but it's not looting. It's a smaller profession based on that. But anyways, so when I first wanted to go fight these MOCOTs, the control pill was one of the things that I was hoping to get, and I was hoping it'd have more value to some people, or that it'd be nice to give away to viewers and that type of stuff, as a little giveaway type of thing. If that's something that would interest you, I did get a few of these. That might be something we work towards or do like a little event, and I give some people some of the loot pills and whatnot I have. They're about 2 ped a piece, so they have some value, but they're not terribly valuable. And they do have some markup, but they're really not. It'd be more just for the fun of it, I guess you could say. Okay, so 150 ped worth of ammo. I did 30 hunts. Now, for those of you at home doing the math, that is 4,500 ped worth of cycled shrapnel, basically. That is a lot. It took me a very long time to do it. Yes, I was depositing during this period of time. And, it helped me learn a lot about what MOCOTs are, how to work with them, what the range of certain things are within the MOCOTs. Like I said, I can do a video on that to cover that more. Basically, there is the low, which is level 0. There's the low mid, which is like everything above 0 to like level 2. Then if you go across the island, and the first island right there, you're going to find some like level 3 to level 4. Then you'll find some 5s and 6s together with another like level 2 that's for whatever reason has a lot of hit points. And then you'll find the level 7s and 8s on an area sort of by themselves, and that's where I believe like generic fuse drops. I never saw one in all that hunting. How many times I hunted those particular ones would be about 600 ped. So 600 ped, I didn't see one drop from them. I bet if I spent 4,500 ped hunting those, I probably would have seen one. And those do have a substantial markup. There is a little bit of competition for hunting those. That's also why I think those drop from there. And they're obviously not common. The level 8s are pretty hard to find too. So it might be just the level 8s. Okay, so let's talk about the Jelly Babies. The Jelly Babies is a mission. When you first start out, you see that you gotta go get a particular one, or kill enough to get that one. The Jelly Babies do themselves have a value. They do have a sell value. They're not awesome. It's not worth doing just for that. Like I said, this is a vanity thing that you put inside your store or inside your home to say you have this. I think people would want these things. I do feel like if you earned them, you probably would display them with, pride, because you went and did it. There are a total of 6 different colors. So that's something, I guess you could say. What makes it probably worth it, though, beyond the rare loot that you could potentially get, I've talked about 2 of the rare loot. I'll talk about the 3rd one in a second. Is that you can do the MOCOT daily mission, which is not actually a daily mission. It's more like an hour mission, hourly. It takes so long to complete the later stages of it that you're actually going to complete it before you could possibly ever get back there. What I mean by that is, if you were to be on level 4, by the time you get done with level 4, you wouldn't be able to get back and have any problem with level 1. And if you were just completing level 4, you couldn't get through 1, 2, and 3 fast enough that it'd be within an hour, and you would be slowed down to get number 4. So it's basically just a continuous cycle of doing these MOCOT missions. Now, MOCOT 1 does not give you evade. It gives you like handgun or something like that. I talk about in the MOCOT daily mission video I did a while back. I'll post that at the top right corner if you like to see that short video talking about the levels 1 through 4. 2, 3, and 4 give you evade, gives you a substantial amount of evade. I increased my evades a lot. I was going to say substantial, but that's too many substantials in the same sentence. It was a significant amount of evade during this process. I took MOCOT 1 through 26, or whatever you want to call it, the 25 points through there. So, yeah, I did a lot of MOCOT hunting, and I've set it up that when I go back and I try it with a different weapon, of which I have a weapon in mind for that, to like really do some more testing on the top end mobs, I think, to see if I can get that generic fuse to drop and this type of thing, and if there's any faster or better weapons for it. Then yeah, I will probably tell you what the repeat is like. So yeah, good stuff so far with the MOCOTs. So let's go ahead and talk about weapon comparisons. Let's go ahead and start with the Buchan spare rifle, spare parts, whatever you want to call it. My version is adjusted. I went back and got it adjusted. Anyone can go get the Buchan. If you don't have it because you weren't on Calypso, you can go and get it. It's not a big deal. Real easy to get. The amount of ammo it uses is not very substantial. You are going to be hunting a lot of lower level things. You can spend a long time hunting lower level things and never really get anything. My first hunts that I've recorded were actually 5 ped long. And I played them at a faster speed because even that was enough to last for a while. So yeah, you can do some really neat things for a very long time with the Buchan. My Buchan, since it's been adjusted, is like 3 point something tier. It's not spectacularly high in tier, so it takes a long time. And I actually got it to 0.99 before getting it adjusted. But I knew that if I got it adjusted, I would lose all the benefit of that. I don't know, even now, if I'd recommend adjusting it. If you're not running a weapon amp, it's better to adjust, is what I would say. If you're running a weapon amp for its level, there is supposedly a slight benefit to not getting it adjusted. But we're talking very, very small increase in actual efficiency. So that's something to think about. So I'm going to read something real quick. So the Buchan sits there, adjusted Buchan sits there at 57. So the adjusted Buchan sits at 57.3 efficiency. And you can see when I put my 3 attachments on it, of which I feel like I have the best unlimited attachments you can get, reducing markup for having to buy limited stuff. So I have the long reach 4 scope, and I have 2 bullseye 8 lasers. All of these can be used at the same time. There are videos out there showing you how to do it if you don't know. If you like, I can show you that in one of the videos too. It's not a hack. Obviously, they allow this. They wouldn't allow it otherwise. I wondered if it might be a hack when I first saw it, and it's not. I just think it's the way they planned for this to happen, per se. Or they just know it, and they just like, yeah, this works. We like this. The reason why I say that is because you're still having decay off of each piece of attachment. If you were having an attachment not show decay, I would say it's probably a glitch. Anyways, with those 2 things, as you can see here with this one, it takes you to 61.1 efficiency. So that's an increase of 2.8% efficiency. That type of increase is not astronomical, but it is notable. What does increased efficiency do? It improves the chance of you getting more diverse loot options, maybe pulling you out of the range of some more common stuff and giving you a chance at a little bit more rare loot as you're going. Is the best way of saying it. It doesn't necessarily increase the amount of loot you get. It just gives you a different group of loot, potentially. Alright, so for its level though, that is pretty high. There are weapons that do better. Those are limited weapons. Some of those weapons are usually pistols, and they tend to be very low PED value, which means they have to be replaced often. So I feel like the Adjusted Buchan is probably about your best option for this type of stuff, in my opinion, for a lot of the low-level hunts. I spoke real quickly about an amp. There is a particular unlimited amp you can get for this. That amp is extremely expensive. You're going to spend 300 plus PED to get it. And you can also use weapon enhancers, which basically change the ball game entirely. There are limited items you can get that will also change the ball game, but again, it's not very significant, and the amount of cost you spend for the benefit you get probably is not worth doing on a Buchan. That said, I probably still will get tier 4 just because I like to have tier 4 on my weapon, because it's been sort of like the thing I do. It's been my main weapon for a very, very long time. It's not smart or eco probably to do that. There's nothing that would benefit really from having it tier 4. So with the Mocots, the Buchan basically means you can hunt the level 0s. You can hunt them ad nauseum every day, all day for hours, and eventually blow through 150 PED. It takes actually about 6 to 7 hours to make it through that. It's really a long time, and it's a low level thing, and you almost have to sell the amount of armor and weapon drops you get off of the low levels, which are basically pennies, or otherwise you get weighed down. There's a lot. But the one thing the level 0s do give you is it gives you that third piece of extremely rare loot. It gives you the Mocot jelly. Mocot jelly is used in the Dairy Once an Apprentice, which is if you are a high-end crafter, you want to get this mission so you can go and do your daily with that, which is 1,000 clicks to be able to get them daily. And then with those 1,000 clicks, you can go ahead and you can get a bunch of skill. It's a very useful, beneficial thing to do. My season 1 of crafting was there, so I did it 30 times. I'm not going to go into each one of those videos probably, or the run of it, shall we say, but I may talk about that in more detail in the future. Okay, so what weapon will I talk about next? Well, let's go ahead and talk about the AR Matrix LR10. So this is a very standard new weapon for people who are trying to leave the newbie range and go into a low skill point range. It's probably the most common weapon that's abused by people with too low a skill to try and make that big step away from TT weapons into, big boy weapons, as they might call it. It's one of those, shall we say. This particular weapon starts off with an efficiency of 62.4, so you're already doing better than you were with the Adjusted Buchan. You're going to be doing a lot more DPS, so you can actually hunt things. When you go ahead and get all the attachments I used before, you're going to get 4.3 levels to the learning period, which is very useful for gaining skills. You're also going to get a bonus to skill point, 63%. Unamped, this gun is very reasonable for the mid, low, and the mid-high level Mocots. It's very good for a lot of things. However, you only go to 63.1 efficiency with the new parts on. So what you lose in skills, or what you gain in skills, you lose in efficiency increase. You only get 0.7% of a level of efficiency. Um, and I don't think that's necessarily because you're gaining so much skills. I just think it's because you're already in the 60s and these weapons are going to increase your efficiency that much more. I also feel like it's because it's a player-made AR matrix, and it might go hand in hand. But we'll get more into that in just a second. So I probably wouldn't put the attachments on for 0.7 of a percent. I would put it on if you're trying to if you're trying to gain more skill, or if you're in that learning period especially. That's probably the value you're going to get. The bonus decay damage is not necessarily worth it. The 0.7% is not necessarily worth it. All the extra decay is going to do is make your chances of globally slightly more, and what you get in return slightly more. So I don't know if that's worth the actual just straight basically loss of PED because you're not getting the skills. Okay, so the LR10 is going to allow you to hunt a different level of monsters or Mocots. These will have a chance to drop the little red pills I talked about, the Mocot control pills. It probably won't drop the generic fuse, and you're no longer in the range for the Mocot jelly. So you're basically going to get the hands and the organs and this type of stuff, which is good, but that may not be what you're wanting to use that weapon for. It is the most expensive of the LR matrices, or the matrix weapons, actually, of all of them. Not PED for PED, but for markup, because it is the weapon everyone can use and everyone can make. So therefore, yes, there's a lot of competition to make it, but there's way more to buy it, especially at certain times of the year. What are Mocot hands and organs used for? Well, they can be refined down and they become components for carpentry. If you're wanting to do that, it's not a bad way of going for sure. One of the more odd components for the Mocots is the Mocot hides. I won't get into that specifically here. I do plan to talk about that in a different video. Let's just say it doesn't work like a standard thing. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that for right now. But since we've been talking about the LR10, let's go ahead and jump to the LR15. The LR15, also part of the Matrix series, is enough to safely feel like you're moving through things quicker. You can now take on the highest level Mocots there are. An LR20 is actually better. But for sure, you could do the top end of Mocots, no problems, with an LR15. It is a little bit long in the level 8s, though, I will say that. The LR15, though, is superior over the LR10 because it allows you to take down the mid-lows quickly. It allows you to take down the mid-highs at a nice pace, and it at least allows you to affect the top end, the high-level versions of Mocots. The LR20 is probably too fast for the mid-low or the mid-highs, and really should only be used in the high end. You just start to get out of range on these things quickly. So the last weapon, it's going to be a little bit of a curveball. This weapon is not a mission weapon. This weapon is not a player-made weapon. This weapon is not unlimited. This is a drop weapon that is really common here on Planet Toulan off of the Dahur and off of the Mocots. I'm talking about the Malwood Recruit Eagle. Now, there's also a second version of this. One of these has more PED value than the other, but for right now I'm going to talk about the Eagle. This particular weapon is going to be very specifically, again, to kill the Mocot level 0s. You're not going to be using this to be able to kill anything else. It actually does less damage than the Buchan, which means that it's going to take even longer to kill. I only got about 300 PED run through it, and that's because it was just absolutely insane how long it took to go through 300 PED. I couldn't do it easily. The interesting thing is, though, I talked about the fact that you'll be literally having to go back and sell weapon and armor pieces that you get from killing the level 0 Mokots. You can actually get enough of these weapons to basically never stop using them. When you're done with one, you jump to the next one and you move on. That is nothing. That is actually a pretty big thing. This makes hunting with these particular weapons free of repair costs and free of markup payments. You just basically use this weapon until you're done, then you swap it out for another one you've already picked up, and you move on. So if you're farming level 0 Mokots day in, day out, and maybe some Dahurs, you could literally do this forever and ever and ever, and it would be fine, probably. You'd have to not switch to other weapons very often. So let's go ahead and talk about the benefit of this weapon, shall we? It starts off with a very unimpressive 53.1% efficiency without any attachments on it. But once you put the same 3 attachments I did on the Bukin and the LR Matrix weapons, it goes up to 61.5. Yeah, you heard that right. That is an 8.4% increase. That is actually starting out lower than the Bukin, adjusted Bukin, or even the regular Bukin, and going above either one of those two when you put those 3 attachments on there. So yeah, finding this weapon makes me want to try this in other places and other ways and see if some of the things we think maybe are lost or not by using a weapon that seems to defy logic as far as going up in the efficiency. I wonder if it does things different in other ways as well. The only negative thing about this weapon that I can find is that it is a lower PED weapon, which means it burns up quickly, and it's lower DPS, which means it's really only for beginning type hunts, and you're not going to get the bonus XP even with the attachments on. So I don't know really if that's going to, I don't know where that's going to leave things. It's going to require more testing. So when I get back to Plane Toulan, this is also one of the things I'm going to be testing. Okay guys, let me go ahead and end this here. We'll pick it up in the next video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification if you want to see future videos like this moving forward. Thank you, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next video. Keep earning that ped. Bye.